Welcome to Renegade Conversations. My name is Meryl Cook, and I'm an artist, a renegade, and host and creator of this Renegade Conversations. And my mission is to provide thought-provoking, fearless, and fun discussions with remarkable female rebels who are shaking things up in their respective fields. And my hope is to make you question the norms and ignite your own renegade spirit. So this episode is sponsored by Dr. Jen Salib-Huber, and I'll just read a little bit about Jen. Jen is a Canadian registered dietitian, a naturopathic doctor, an intuitive eating counselor, and she's on a mission to help women manage menopause without diets and food rules. She helps women navigate the physical and emotional changes that happen in perimenopause and menopause, including their search for food freedom and body confidence. Working from a health at every size approach, she teaches women to become intuitive eaters and build body confidence at any stage of midlife. So in addition to her one-to-one and group programs, she's the host of the Midlife Feast podcast and community that helps women undiet their lives after 40 so they can nourish a relationship with food that helps them discover the magic of midlife. So you'll be hearing a bit more from Jen a bit later. So how I met you, Martha. You may not recognize Martha's face or her name, but when you hear the voice of my next guest, you will say, oh, yes, I recognize her voice. I love her. Martha Chaves is one of the funniest women I know. My husband and I have been known to sit in the car at the grocery store listening to her on the debaters on CBC before going in to do our shopping. She's too funny to turn the car off. And when I was looking for potential guests for this series, my friend Wendy Truman introduced me to Martha, and I'm so glad, Martha, that you said yes. So I'll read a little bit from your bio.
I'm glad that you asked me. I'm glad that you asked me. Thank you for having me here.
I'm so pleased. So Martha Chaves is a Latina-Canadian award-winning stand-up comedian, actor, and comedy writer. Known for her smart, sassy, and provocative humor, she's a favorite headliner at clubs, festivals, fundraisers, corporate functions, and keynote speaking engagements. With numerous appearances in prestigious comedy events like Just for Laughs, the Winnipeg Festival, and We Are Funny That Way Festival, Martha has proven her ability to captivate audiences across the board. Her comedic talent has been showcased in 2 national comedy specials, Something About Martha on CTV and the Comedy Network, and Comics on the CBC. In addition to her stand-up success, Martha has also written and starred in several one-person shows, including Staying Alive at the Solo Theatre Festival, Times of Trouble at the Aluna Theatre's Caminos Festival, and The 2 Diaries at the Solocom Festival at the People's Improv Theatre in New York City. I'd like to hear more about those later, Martha. I'm really interested in your one-woman plays. Martha's acting skills have also been displayed on the big screen, where she has shared scenes with renowned actors such as Denzel Washington in John Q, Chris Rock in Down to Earth, and even rapper 50 Cent in Get Rich or Die Trying. Martha can be heard on CBC Radio's The Debaters and Laugh Out Loud, and she's a regular on the hit CBC show Because News. Also, she's the voice of Vero in the educational cartoon Rosie's Rules. Her album, Chunky Salsa, which I highly recommend, is available in all major platforms and played on Sirius XM. Martha Chaves is an accomplished and versatile comedic powerhouse, leaving audiences happy wherever she goes. And I think that's a great way to start, Martha, for us. So,
Thank
Martha,
you.
Oh, you have such an interesting range of things that you do. So I'm so excited to learn more about it. But in our correspondence, when we were emailing back and forth, in addition to saying you didn't want to talk about the usual boring questions that everybody asks.
No, it's not boring, but everybody asks me the same thing.
Of course.
How I came to Canada, why I came to Canada. But I've been answering the same for years.
I know, exactly.
Yeah.
So
it is
hopefully we won't be boring.
No. It's not that it's boring. It's that
I
There
hear you.
are other things that I would like to talk about.
Absolutely, absolutely. I have the same where I had an experience with breast cancer, and for the first 5 years I talked about that, but now I'm kind of like, I'm done with that, and I'm ready to talk about other things as well. So you also said, I don't know what you mean about being a renegade. I'm just an assertive professional in a predominantly masculine profession, a hard profession, if you will. So in my opinion, a renegade is someone who breaks with tradition, who's not afraid to stand out or to speak up, who follows their own path and not necessarily the one dictated by others, right? So as well, I'm really passionate about what I call wild women, women who, as we age, are embracing their inner wild selves, letting our hair grow gray or silver or white or not, making the choice ourselves, right? And refusing to be sidelined, doing what we love and asserting our rights to age and continue to do meaningful work. So I'd say that based on at least my definition, you are definitely a renegade, Martha, and one that I admire very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Meryl.
Yeah.
Yes, I am a renegade.
Yes, you are. You are. And that's really why I wanted to have you on this show. So I seem to recall you saying something in one interview like, I single-handedly decolonized the stand-up comedian community in Canada.
That is so obnoxious.
It's
Did I say
obnoxious
that?
and great.
Well, you know what? For the longest time, I was the only ethnic person doing comedy.
Mm-hmm.
But now, from like 10 years, from 10 years ago, there are a lot of people that are ethnic. There are a lot of people that speak with accents.
Uh-huh.
Before, I was the only one that spoke
Yeah.
with an accent in the Yak Yak rosters for about 20 years.
And there weren't very many women either at that time, correct?
No, there were not many, no, there were not many women. Now there are a lot.
Yeah.
There are a lot. When I started, there were Elvira Kurt, Judy Kroon, Marla Lukowski, Heidi Foss. Who else was Heidi? That's when I first started.
Okay. Awesome.
And Lisa Gay Tremblay, then
Yeah.
Jen Grant,
Right.
Erica Ferguson, but I could name them all.
Exactly.
But
Where you could name all the men.
Now I can't
wonderful.
name them all because there are a lot of women. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's just like comedy is communication, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is, communication.
Yeah.
So the same way that women had no role in communication in other areas,
Mm-hmm.
but you didn't see so many women on a broadcast, doing broadcasts, so many women on the news, you didn't see women CEOs, certainly didn't see a lot of women in the same, it was the same in comedy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Comedy is communication, especially humor was always reserved for the superior.
Uh-huh.
Like for example, in an office, if the boss tells a joke, it's good.
Yeah, everybody's supposed to laugh.
and we laugh. If somebody of lesser rank than the boss tells a joke and the boss doesn't laugh, no matter if you find it hysterical, you don't laugh. It's a question of unfortunately, that's what it is, a question of hierarchy.
Yeah. Status and hierarchy.
And also most of the comedy club owners are men.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
And for the longest time, men didn't find women funny, and audiences didn't find women funny because there is the stereotype, right?
Yeah.
Women only talk about children, marriage, the period, my mother-in-law, and all of that. But also it was also that a lot of people weren't interested in what we had to say. In our sense of humor, but women have been funny forever.
Exactly.
Like men, only behind the back.
Right, exactly. We had kept it quiet for years. So could you talk about either opportunities or challenges that being a renegade has presented to you and throughout your life and your career? Because it's not just with comedy that you've been a renegade, right? You've been a renegade in lots of ways.
Since the day I was born, I was a renegade. That's what my mother used to say. And I went to an all-girl Catholic school, and I was always singled out as the girl that wouldn't shut up. I was always sent to the Mother Superior's office.
Uh-huh.
Always sent it. If you see, well, you can't see them because we went through an earthquake and then the revolution and the
Mhm.
exile, my
Yeah.
family,
Yeah.
and everything got lost. So I
Mm.
can't find the report. I wish I found the
Those report
card
cards.
where it says she talks too much. She's always making fun of things. She
Yeah.
asks questions that she shouldn't be asking. Like, for example, I used to ask religious questions that
Right.
made no sense to me, like as a child. As a
Uh-huh.
child, things that didn't make any sense to me. Like even when I was a child, like they would tell you that Jesus died for our sins. And I would go like, but that Mother Superior, you said that God is all powerful, all knowing, and all
Yeah.
present. So how come he didn't know that the people that he created were gonna be sinful? What is it? And how come if you are all powerful, how
Yeah,
come
yeah.
can't you
Oh my.
do an
Yeah.
abracadabra there
Yeah.
and judge all of these people? Why do you have to torture your own child?
Yeah.
Ah!
And
Like
you were in trouble.
I got beat up a lot by the nuns.
Well, you know what's really funny is I just talked with Lisa Laflamme the other day, and she talked about being too chatty on her report cards, which was totally my thing as well, and also being sent to the board and things like that. I think that maybe that's a thread on renegade women that we start out really chatty and questioning.
Yeah, that we start out with a voice. And I don't know
Yeah,
how it was because I went to an all-girl Catholic school, but I
right.
imagine that it would have been a lot more difficult if there were boys and girls.
Mm-hmm,
Because
mm-hmm.
usually it is the boys who are like, the shit disturbers
Yeah,
per se.
yeah,
Even the shit disturber boys will stamp on the girls' heads. They
yeah,
want to
yeah.
keep a second class. But I went to an all-girl Catholic school, and that was always the complaint. And that I talked too much, but I asked for things that were valid. In my
Exactly. You had valid questions. They just didn't want to hear them, right?
I always I have valid questions that nobody has been able to answer me yet.
So I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you today, Martha, did you bring a drink to share? What are you drinking today? Just while we take a bit of a breath.
Coffee.
Coffee. Any particular kind of coffee?
Tim Horton. We like the Tim Horton brand.
Nice, nice.
Uh,
That's very Canadian.
that's very Canadian,
Yeah.
although I mean Canada is not known by their coffee
No.
production, but it's Guatemalan, this one.
Yeah. Nice, nice. Cool.
Yeah.
So one of the aspects about you that, Martha, that I most admire is that how you use your work to talk about things that are really important to all of us and to you, right? So can you tell me a bit about how you've used your work to really speak out?
Well, it is kind of organic. Like I didn't plan it that way. It was by, like they said to me, talk truth to power.
Yeah.
But I am an ethnic lesbian that lives in Canada. I have lived in Canada most of my life.
Uh-huh.
I am an other, like, other. So anytime I open my mouth, is speaking truth to power.
Right.
Because people like me were supposed to be subdued
Mm-hmm.
and hidden and silenced. But every time I say something, and then it came organic. I don't have I like to talk present,
Mm-hmm.
like present things that are happening to me
Right.
or influenced by the world. Like you heard in my album that it was at the time of the Nazis roaming around the streets.
Mm-hmm.
When my album came out.
Yes.
Well, I like to talk what was going on, although always aware that topical material has short-lived. It's short-lived.
Right. Yes.
But I always put in my act something topical, and then I move on to talk about things that matter to me, like for example, religion, societal problems against my class, let's say, my not class in the sense against my own. Again, like for example, now what was happening with the LGBTQ2S plus the hatred.
Yes.
That there was a demonstration recently against LGBTQ, and we have the tagline is we have to protect our children from us, the horrible people
I
that
know,
are.
it's horrible.
But I went for a little while and I left because I couldn't. I said I'm gonna beat up somebody here. This is gonna end up in blood.
Yeah, there's gonna be blood spilled, and that
I'm
just wouldn't
gonna
be
hit
good.
someone with my sign, and that's gonna be it. I'm going to jail.
Yeah.
So I left. It's horrible to encounter that so much hatred, and that like saying that we, the gay people, the alphabet people.
Yes, the alphabet with all the letters attached. Yeah.
The alphabet fabulous. They're saying that we are corrupting kids. Why don't you go to a Catholic church if you want to catch pedophiles? That's what the pedophiles are.
Exactly.
Or to any church whatsoever. Many priests have been accused, and convicted before they were moved from parish to parish, right?
I know, and then they were just sent there to victimize other children in another location.
But now they have been accused and convicted. Go to the place where they have had actual people accused and convicted. Tell me, when has a drag queen been involved in something like that?
I know.
So
I
if
know.
you want to catch pedophiles, go at the nest of the pedophiles.
Exactly.
The Boy Scouts, the this and the that, not in the gay community. We don't even like children.
Yeah. But I just find it, I'm a mother of a gay son, and also very much an ally for the gay community. And I just find it unbelievable and horrifying to know that these protests were happening. I think it was Tuesday morning, or I forget what day it was last week. It's just, it's just unbelievable. But I think we have to believe it, and we have to wake up.
Yeah, and it's the ignorance. And then I'm thinking, these people protesting are children of the 80s. Like, the 80s, it doesn't make any sense that people that were raised in the 80s, like with Madonna and Boy George and this and that, feel that way. Yeah. Which means that there is something that is happening, is the politicians influencing the thoughts.
Yeah, there's some disconnect happening, isn't there? Why people are starting to think this. Yeah.
There is a total disconnect. But the other, we live in the gay village. Because we live in the gay village, one of the reasons is to feel safe. When I come back at night from my work and everything. Yeah. And then yet the other day at the Glad Day bookstore, near the Glad, not in the bookstore, but near, like at the corner of Church and Wellesley, which is like the corner of Sodom and Gomorrah.
I know, it's a wonderful spot.
There were already people, the Christians with signs. Like, repent or you're going to hell. And I go, hey, do you get commission? What the hell? What do you care where I go? Tell me, what do you care where I go? Besides, they depart from when they tell you that we are going to hell, they depart from the idea that we believe what they believe. I don't believe your religion.
Yeah.
Well, why should I, I'm not a believer in spite of my strict education. It's just but it's horrible. It's like sometimes it makes me weep, like really cry, because I thought that at this moment in time there would be more open-minded people. But what I think it is, what I think is happening is politicians, like in the times of Nazi Germany, and I hate to make the association, that's what they call the Goldwyn law, that whenever something is broken, we go to the Nazi Germany. But in the time of Nazi Germany, they found a target,
and it put all the influence on those people.
Those people. That's exactly what it is. Let's find a scapegoat. And because Trudeau has been friendly with the gay community, all of the opposition is attacking for him. Because Obama had the rainbow flag. And after in the White House, remember when gay marriage became legal? So his sin was not only to be the first Black president of the United States, but to have given support to the gays, which he did
Yeah.
when it just was signed in his during his tenure. But activists have been fighting for a long time to
Exactly.
achieve that, right?
Yeah.
So he brought destruction and death to the United States.
Oh, it's
So
so sad.
it's so sad. Like you with a gay son, how sad it is,
Yeah, I really do. I really do. I fear for his well-being, and I fear for if he has a family, for his family, and in our family and all that stuff. So tell me, Martha, about you talked about being othered. And so what is that like to be othered?
Well, I always been an other though.
Mm-hmm.
Because even in Nicaragua, I was always an other because I knew from a very young age that I was gay, or that I was different. Because when my classmates, like around what 13 years old, that the nuns started socializing us with the boys' school, the Jesuits. And I remember my classmates were fascinated by that, and I wasn't.
Yeah.
I was in my little island of women with nuns and female classmates. And I was so scared, but I thought that it was because I was scared that boys wouldn't like me because I was chunky, I was chubby, and all of that. But I've always been an observant. Sometimes being other hurts.
Yeah.
In the sense that sometimes when you cannot belong, be it because of your ethnic background, your how do you say, your homosexuality or your age. Now I'm being older by age.
Yeah.
Because most comics are younger, right?
Right.
And then the same industry that told you that it takes 10 to 15 years to get good in stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
When you get good, very, really, very good, and you're aging like fine wine, they haven't said it to me yet, because I made it a point to become undeniable.
Right.
But I don't hang with all of the comics because I am older than them.
Yeah.
I have other interests.
Exactly.
So it's even if they don't other me, I other myself.
Because it's a bit lonesome. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's lonesome.
We're going to take a little break here.
Okay.
But before we take the break, I have a question for you that I want you to think about. I want you to tell us, what kind of a kid were you in grade 5?
Hi there, knock knock. It's Jen Salib Huber. I'm the host of the Midlife Feast podcast and community. My apologies for interrupting this renegade conversation with Meryl. But if you're like me and you like conversations that disrupt the status quo in midlife, I wanted to invite you to join my community, the Midlife Feast community, where we're disrupting diet culture and learning to manage menopause without diets and food rules. If you'd like to join us, use the code RENEGADE and save 20% off your first month. Now back to this renegade conversation.
So tell me, Martha, what kind of kid were you in grade 5?
I was unruly. That's the way you say unruly kid?
Unruly, yeah, wonderful.
Really, I think in grade 5 is when I got my period.
And
it was tormentuous because I was very young. How old are you usually in grade 5? 9? 10?
Yeah, around age 10, I think. That is young. Yeah.
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 Yeah, and then it was all of this. I didn't want to get it. Like I was tormented because it was all of this pressure. Oh, you're becoming a señorita, meaning you're not a child anymore. You're becoming a young lady. I didn't want to become a young lady. I wanted to continue playing in the dirt, playing cowboys and the other part.
Yeah.
Playing with arrows. And my mom, when we were little, she bought us all sorts of toys. We got guns, we got bows and arrows. I wanted to continue being a child, but I was unruly. And there were a lot of things happening in the house too. My father and mother both work because they were both lawyers. And we were raised by my nanny, who is the only one who is alive now. Like she's like my second mother. A lot of things happening in the history of Nicaragua, a lot of turmoil.
Yeah.
Brewing. That you could feel it by the conversations that you heard your parents.
Right, and by the adults, by their energy, probably what was happening with them. Yeah. Okay, so unruly. you were
unruly.
as a grade 5. So
I
I
was unruly.
started.
I remember that I would have I like the hair, like, crazy, like
Yeah.
Carole King.
Yeah, lovely. I always wanted Carole King's hair.
Yeah, no, I was that how old I was, about 7 when I discovered Carole King
Oh,
by an album that somebody older, my cousin, brought from the United States.
yeah.
And then she gave it to me because I love it so much.
Yeah.
And I would read a dictionary
Yeah.
and interpret I
All
wanted
the
to know what she
lyrics.
was thinking about. When she said, ain't good to know, ain't good to know, I couldn't find out what ain't meant. Because ain't in the dictionary.
It wasn't in the dictionary,
No, but
exactly.
I was very lonely in the sense that so I'm sorry about my voice.
No worries.
I've been yelling. I'm a teacher too, so I've been talking a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
I loved Carole King too. I used to write out all the lyrics from her songs in my diary, and I basically had them all memorized. Yeah, she was wonderful.
no, and I didn't do the things that my siblings did. Like they all learned how to swim. They were swimming at the club. I was alone in my bedroom drawing or reading because I was fat. I've always been chunky, and people made fun of me.
Right, and so you were felt.
So I was I was very lonely in a way. Yeah. I hang out on my own, or I went out with my father. Was very generous, so we would pick up all of my 5 at least of my classmates and take them to the movies. And I bought friendships.
Yeah,
That's
hard. That's hard.
That's hard. But I read a lot. I was the most well-read kid in the whole school, I think. That was like the saving grace of me, that they wouldn't understand how come I did so poorly in math, but they didn't understand that, and how come I did so well in history, geography, literature, grammar, because I loved that, and I never studied. I just loved doing
You
it.
loved them. And my understanding is your degree at Concordia was in languages, so you obviously have a gift for language.
Yes, I do have a gift for languages. I did not finish though the degree. I was 1 year short of finishing linguistics, but because I was all alone in Canada, and I had to work. You can't afford. And then I thought, when am I going to finish this when I can only pay one course?
Right.
Or assist to one course because I'm working.
Yeah.
So I have always worked. Worked all my life in Canada. People always think that refugees and immigrants ask for handouts, but I didn't even know there was something that existed that people give you money. Maybe that the government will give you money. Maybe if I have known, I would have asked. But the fact that I became aware of welfare when I had been already here 10 years.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
no, I think growing up, the immigrant families that I knew always were the hardest working families in our whole neighborhood. The parents worked hard, the kids worked hard. It was not a stereotype that I had learned about welfare or anything like that. I really feel that my husband is an immigrant from Hong Kong, and his family worked very hard to get here and to raise the kids and all that stuff. So I just have 2 more questions for you, Martha.
Did I take a lot of time? Did I take a lot of time answering? Yes.
You did a great job answering. Thank you. So this is a fun question. It's one that I use in my workshops a lot, where I get people to kind of think outside the box and become more creative. And it is there a line or a shape that would define you? If you were to draw a line or a shape, what would it look like?
If I were to draw a line or a shape?
Yeah, that would define you. Yeah. What kind of line would you be?
Like, you mean a straight line?
Yeah.
Or a vertical line?
Yeah,
I would be a roller coaster.
A roller coaster. Nice. Nice. Yeah.
At times peaceful, at times sheer horror. knowing,
That's true.
knowing
That's
that
what a
it,
roller coaster is like.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
And then
fully
like,
goes
oh,
away.
we're okay. And yeah.
Mind you, I can't because of my ear. I
Okay.
can
Yeah.
go in on rides. Like I went once in my life in a ride, and
Yeah.
I couldn't stand for like about 4 days and didn't know why I was throwing up so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suffer
But
from the same thing, so I totally get you. Yeah, when my kids used to go on roller coasters, I would get sick just watching them.
just watching, yeah.
Yeah.
Once I went to
Terrible.
a Supertramp concert,
Oh, yes.
and they had they had a video of a car going,
Oh, no.
and I went out of the concert very
Yeah.
dizzy too.
Yeah, that
So
would do me in completely. Yes. Okay,
completely.
last question. What advice do you have, Martha, for women who want to access more of their own inner wild selves or their renegade selves? Because not everybody's been a renegade from day one like we have. But if people wanted to become more of their renegade self, what advice would you have?
You have to become, I think, self-aware, and realize that there are a lot of things designed, and this is no conspiracy theory. This is true.
Yeah.
You can see it in magazines, in movies, and in images on TV, and series that make you feel that you're ugly, you're too fat, you're this or you're that.
Right.
So you just have to realize that the more that you look inside yourself, the more that you think, oh, I am my own person. You don't have to influence me. The more power that you get.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's difficult. It's difficult. In comedy, for example, comedians, we pretend that we are the most self-confident people, but we are very insecure in the sense that the job in itself is insecure, because you don't know if you're going to have such a good gig next time, or you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, and sometimes when you have a bad gig, not letting it go to your heart, letting it feel like, okay, well, I'm not for everyone, and kind of move on to another crowd, right? And
yeah. It is when it happens so much, quit. It's not them, it's you.
If it happens too often.
If it happens too often, yeah, because sometimes sometimes some people can and some people cannot.
Yes.
Both women and men.
Yeah.
But if I have a bad gig, it always hurts.
Yeah.
It always hurts, but then another gig comes and then you pick yourself up.
Right.
That's
the other part too, isn't it? It's about picking yourself up when you're trying to put yourself out there and become a renegade and learning about yourself. It's about sort of speaking to yourself in a compassionate way when you do have a failure and saying, well, that wasn't so bad. And
yeah. And always pay attention to what people say, really. Pay attention to what people are telling you, because sometimes they are telling you things, backhanded compliments or sheer bullshit.
Yeah.
Like you have to pay attention of like for example, somebody tell me an example of something that they will say. Like they have said to you, let's say.
Oh, like
you are a writer, right? You're a writer.
Yes. Yeah.
You have had rejections.
Oh, definitely. I've had lots of rejections. Yeah.
Lots of rejections. And then what do you do when you get a rejection letter? You just plaster in the on the wall, and you have a one day, you stupid asshole. You're gonna pay.
You have a moment of being angry, and then you think, okay, well, I learned something by this application. Maybe I learned how to write a proposal better, and I also ask for feedback if I get a rejection that is somewhere that they're going to give you feedback, and I ask for feedback, and I take it with a grain of salt and just say, okay, well, I could do it differently, or maybe it's not me.
I always say I take them with a grain of salt. Potassium cyanide. Indulge in revenge in your head. Let's say I didn't get something that I wanted so much, a show that I wanted so much, and another person got it. It will always happen, no matter in what stage of your career you are. Even if you are, let's say, if you are like Wanda Sykes, one of the most accomplished and successful comedians. There will be a show that maybe that she wanted and she didn't get. always happen. What
Yeah.
I always do is like I accept it. I accept that I'm a little bit hurt, and I work harder towards something else. I don't dwell.
Right.
I
agree.
don't dwell. I don't dwell, because the time that you spend dwelling in things is the time that you're not creating.
Exactly. And
And
you're wasting time.
wasting your time. So I move on. Of course, after the voodoo and everything, that takes a lot, to contact the witch.
Yeah.
I move on. It's like from former experience. Then sometimes there is somebody that I hate and despise. That is a comic too. Let's say there would be like a racist, sexist, homophobe.
Right.
You know what I wish? I think in my head, I wish this guy all of the success in the world, so he lives. I don't.
So he's not in my face anymore.
He says, not in our face anymore. Don't wish
Yeah.
people evil. Wish them success so you don't see them again. And then that kind of takes away their power. Nothing is. How would I say? Nothing is permanent. Nothing is super powerful over you.
Exactly.
That's the other thing that I have realized. Nothing is permanent.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think that you will be queen forever.
Right.
Maybe maybe you will be queen for something else.
Yes. When you're not feeling like a queen, that also doesn't last forever, right? So there will be other times. Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful, Martha.
And being queen or not being queen or having a 3 million followers, it's not important to me. You know what? It is the important thing. The important thing is when I see an audience that may not be friendly at all to me, and I change them.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I create this bridge between them and myself, because as I said at the beginning, comedy, performance in general, is communication. So I don't go to a town, let's say, that is full of that I have been told by other comics, oh, those people, they are all rednecks, they're going to hate you, they are racist. And I don't go with those preconceived ideas. I go with caution.
Yeah.
But I go, humans are humans. I may or may not be able to communicate with them.
Yeah.
But if I do, it's better than when I preach to the choir.
Exactly, because you've actually made an impact on somebody, right?
On somebody, that's
wonderful.
Positivity is my thing. Let's be positive, and that's what I teach my students. This is not about getting. If you want fame, first of all, don't live in Canada. because I made that choice. That choice, Meryl. I didn't want to move to the United States, where I would be now, maybe a household name, because they had a lot more Latin people, because so many things. But I don't like the how do you say that one? Idiosyncrasy.
Right. Well,
I like better Canada. I like healthcare. Let's be honest.
I like healthcare too. Exactly.
I like healthcare, and my wife Linda will move to the States, and then I am very happy with her. It's the one chance that I've been completely happy. 14 years we will be together.
Oh, nice.
And I thought, why am I gonna go chase a carrot that I may or may not get?
Yeah. And I've got this
when
loving
I got
relationship.
This wonderful woman, beautiful person that she's listening. She's in the room.
Is she listening?
No, she's in the other room. We live in a very tiny apartment, but she's in the other room working. She works for the government. I don't know what is it that she does. I am not privy to
secret, I'm sure. Well, thank you so much, Martha. It's been such a pleasure to meet you. And
thank you for the interest. I really I want you to send me things of your writings.
Thank you. I will.
And I hope that we cross paths.
I hope so too. Thanks again to our sponsor, Jen Salib-Huber, the menopause nutritionist. And I hope that this episode has left you feeling inspired and ready to channel your own renegade spirit. I know that I feel very inspired after talking to Martha today. And if you need a little help getting started, please reach out to me. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more Renegade conversations. Thanks so much.